So today, everybody, the topic of discussion that we will be going over and talking about is none other than Nagi and Isagi. Now, I've never actually done a video talking about both of these two in conjunction. I don't think I ever have. I don't think I ever will again, probably after this for a while. But I was thinking to myself, right? Because I was thinking of optimal duos in Blue Lock, right? And when I'm thinking of optimal duos in Blue Lock, I'm thinking of characters like Hugo, Loki, Kaiser, Isagi, Ren, and Nanase, like characters that are very compatible with each other and can perform at a very high level when they are combined with each other. But there was a specific duo that I was looking at throughout the series that always performs and brings out the best in each other no matter who they're playing against, right? And that is Isagi and Nagi. Now, I made a community post about this, and there was a few comments that wanted me to make a video about this and explain why Isagi and Nagi are even such a good duo, or why it's even worth talking about. Now, before we go into this, I do just want to break down at a fundamental level why they're such a good duo and they complement each other well. As you guys already know, Isagi is a talented learner and Nagi is a genius. Now, what makes them so incredible is that they are the ultimate expressions of this diaphragm, I'd say, actually. They're the ultimate expressions of talented learners and geniuses. And what I mean by this is that compared to characters like Ren, Kaiser, and let's say Baro, Nagi and Isagi have always been the characters to adapt or evolve at a rapid rate that goes beyond anybody that they're playing against. Now, a perfect example for talented learners would be Isagi being able to adapt as the game's going on at an evolved rate, just like he did in, for example, the Manshine game. For Nagi, it would be his rapid evolution in literally every game. Every game he plays in, he's rapidly evolving or finding a crazy formula to score crazy goals, right? So, to go forward with that, let's actually talk about what they do as a team. And we'll be putting this into second selection and then the U20 arc, because as far as we're concerned, that's just the only time where they were teammates and they could actually be a great optimal duo with each other, right? So, let's go first starting with second selection. After Nagi and Isagi lose the game against Ren and they lose Baro, they are forced to team up and have to play against Baro and Naruhaya. Now, in this game, all things considered, Isagi and Naruhaya going into this game are the low picks. They are the Robins to Nagi and Baro's Batman. And that's pretty clear because at this point, it's already established that Nagi and Baro are superior and they are just on a different level. But as far as I'm concerned, Nagi breathes life into the ball the entire game. And although Isagi isn't as prominent as he should be during this game, I do want to note, by the end of the game, Isagi is capable of scoring on Baro and delivering a shot with the mix of Naruhaya's off the ball movement in there. So he evolves and adapts at a rapid rate, even though he didn't score really any of the goals before this point. I think him evolving at this rate and Nagi also growing and developing his formula in one play against Baro is just showing how well they complement each other, as Isagi can adapt and Nagi can just keep evolving at a constant rate. And Isagi's visualization can be literally imprinted into Nagi's brain. We already know, going a little bit further, that Chris Prince has already confirmed that Nagi can play on the same level or does kind of take attributes from the players that he plays against or the players that he plays with when it comes to a striker and a midfielder or a striker and a partners type of perspective, right? Now, after they beat Baro and Naruhaya, they then have to play Chigiri and Ryo and Kunigami, which in this game, their duo was a little bit more highlighted, I'd say, honestly. Because in this game, they are playing with a unsuitable Baro that does not want to play in conjunction or combination or coordinate with their team. He just doesn't want to play with them at all, which is hindering them in the worst ways possible. Now, Isagi and Nagi have to capitalize on this by playing a 2v3, which in this case, they do it to a superb level. They are capable of beating Ren. They're capable of beating Ryo, Chigiri, and Kunigami by themselves by combining their own plays and bringing visualization into that, right? Now, what I mean by bringing visualization into that is that I remember there's a certain play where Borrow is literally straight death routes. Like Isagi cannot give the ball to Borrow or they'll lose it. Now instead he gives the ball to Nagi, where Nagi can breathe life into the ball no matter where he gives it to. It's a type of relationship that it allows Isagi to adapt to Nagi in the field while Nagi is constantly evolving by kind of leaning back on Isagi. It's literally the perfect genius and talent to learn their chemistry that literally kept growing as second selection kept going on, which is why they were able to beat Chiguru, Reo, and Kunigami's team with essentially without a third teammate, right? And this goes so far as to say because Nagi was trusting in Isagi's plan so much that even when Chiguru is able to steal the ball from him, that when the ball is going out of bounds, he has full trust in Isagi to leap himself out of bounds and trap and control the ball to send it back in, right? Now, enough about that game, because even in the next game, Isagi and Nagi have even better performance. They don't essentially lock in as a full-on duo, but they are capable of surpassing Ren for a play where Nagi kind of breaks past Isagi's current visualization to up the state of play, which increases the level of his visualization, which leads to the second stage volley that he does on Ren and makes Ren try harder. So it's already clear as day that Isagi and Nagi together were good enough to already push Ren to that limit of having to try harder and actually perspire. So as you see, at second selection in particular, Nagi and Isagi are those two. They are that great duo. And even though they do lose to Ren, I think it's already clear that as a duo, they're pretty much more superior to most of the individual players by themselves. And even Ren and Batra as a duo, I probably wouldn't deem over Nagi and Isagi. Especially with how Isagi can keep adapting to Ren and how Nagi can keep evolving due to Isagi's brain just implementing creative ideas into Nagi's brain. Like it just leads for the ultimate relationship, the ultimate chemical reaction every single time. Now, I do want to touch up on the U20 arc, which is the arc where Isagi and Nagi actually don't have that much linking up plays, but it is possible for Isagi to play off Nagi in that scenario where they are playing against the U20 defenders. And this is Sai does end up stopping Isagi here, but prior, Nagi's being pressed by the Doberman defender and is capable of literally tapping the ball to the side like a perfect touch to the off the ball Isagi, who gets past the defensive line and was only stopped because Sai took the shortest route to get to him and stop him. Without that, Isagi probably would have scored and had a brace that game, if anything. So I do think that Isagi and Nagi, even when it's short glimpses of spotlight of their optimal synchronization, I think that those two in particular have better chemistry and a better overall philosophy together than most of the other duos in the series. I'd say one duo in the series that probably can match that is probably Kaiser and Isagi, because they're 1-to-1 perfect, are Hugo and Loki, because they complement each other so well and they're both just already pretty strong. But we're talking about just overall compatibility and what they've showcased without even them being teamed up at their peak. I do think that we should probably talk about how impressive they are as a duo. Now, if they hypothetically teamed up in the New Eagles League, I don't think Nagi probably would have ever had a downfall. I think Isagi would have been able to solve the issue on his own. As of like telling Nagi, yeah, you need to strive for something greater. You need to fix this. Like, I don't think he would have let him go on in that state like Reo did. I just think Isagi and Nagi always complement each other well on the field and just when they're on the screen. It's always Isagi and Nagi when it comes to when we're talking about a ultimate genius, because he's the ultimate prodigy. And for Isagi, he's the demon king that evolves and adapts to everything. A perfect relationship that comes through scoring goals and making the most ultimate plays possible. That is pretty much all for this video of me just talking about and ranting about Isagi and Nagi being, in my opinion, the most optimal duo in the series as far as we've seen when it comes to compatibility and how well they work together. You could argue Nagi and Reo had a great chemistry when they were awakened, but even then, I think it's already clear to us that it's already the case that Nagi and Reo's talent as a duo is withered down, so they can't really work together. And I do think Rayo and Nagi's duo is pretty solid, but if Ego is saying that from the start they were doomed, then I don't think they're a good duo to begin with. They might be able to make superb plays for them for those one little duels on the field, but like besides that, as a whole game, they'll never be able to complete or win a game together because they are not as optimal as they think they are. And that's just my take on that. But I will see you guys in the next one, and I hope you guys have a nice day or night. Also, I do want you guys to join the Discord server that I plan on linking in the description. It's a server that is filled with a bunch of block debaters and scalers. I think that you guys would get along a lot with them if you're not already in there. And, you know, I'd appreciate that. I get to talk a little bit of my community a little bit more. I'm a lot more active in there, and I just think it could be pretty great. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.